Hello, this is Eric Tavener, and today we're going to be talking about winning user adoption when implementing CRM software. So let's talk about some strategies of how to get this done. First of all, when we talk to today's information workers, we're really finding that in recent years, because of changes with social media, mobile devices, and the internet, we really have new expectations of what people expect software to do. Unlike the old days where people were really just regimented into using things like Word documents and email, the awareness of using applications and also just the fact that people have been using grown to expect uh, better and more efficient software. So when we talk to our customers about this, and when you talk to your internal employees about CRM, we really have to dig into what are we doing now? What's working? What isn't working? What's been missing in our business process, or what's a gap between functional attributes of the system? And I know this sounds obvious, but many software vendors drive this sales process around what the executives want. But we also have to go into this system and look at it and decide what do the end users need to have to do their job? What is hard to do and what needs to be simplified? At the end of the day, we will eventually get to the point where management will get the data they need, but until people put information into systems, there is no data to analyze. And as part of the CRM project, often one of the things I hear people say is that they don't want to be a slave to the system. And part of understanding that sentiment is because usually they're already using multiple other systems for putting data in, and this new system sounds like just another thing to put data into. What we have to do is explain to them how we're going to eradicate or retire old systems and other things that are less efficient. So the example I give everybody is, where do you put your leads today? Well, they're in a spreadsheet. Where do you put your contacts? Well, I put them into my email system. And how do you manage your pipeline? That's in another spreadsheet. And where do you manage quotes? Well, that's somewhere else. So really what they're saying is, I don't want to be a slave to another system. And what we have to do is let them know the CRM system will be an intervention of sorts where we're going to be eliminating these other systems of redundant information. We're going to be reducing systems so that you will have one efficient system. And that's really what they need to understand is the new way is going to be not like the old way extended. It's going to be a reinvention of how to do business. When we consider how to do business differently, often the executive team is always standing at the forefront of this, saying they're going to sponsor this project, but they also want to have the data they want. Well, of course they want executive analytics. They should. But what we have to do is understanding the transformation of how people are using systems and how they will use the new CRM system to get data into one place. So really the 3x factor is what we're looking at here. Is what does that mean? It means by putting information into the system, it's going to drive the executive analytics. And the 3x factor means every time I put a piece of information into me, it benefits me at minimum times 3. And the easy 3, as I call it, is I put information in here so I can retrieve it. I could put 2, I put information in here so others can retrieve it. And 3, when I put information in here, it also supports the executive or enterprise reporting. And X4, marketing can draw out a list whenever they want. And X5, I can see what marketing has done with that customer and know how to respond in kind. And X6 is customer service is using the same system as we are, and I can see when they have interactions, and we're working from one common database. So all of these 3x factors really start multiplying the value of the system. If we're all using each other's tools and information, we're benefiting and working stronger together. So part of this project success is setting project goals. Setting the project goals. The 80-20-20-80 rule is 80% of the functionality we'll focus on when implementing CRM is going to be focused around end users, and 20% will be focused around management and their executive analytics needs. We will, of course, address those, and over time, as we accomplish the goal of getting users functional, we're going to then slide slowly towards the 20-80 rule, whereas Eventually, once people start using the system, we will be focusing on analytics as the heavy side of the front end of the system. Because if there's no information in the system, obviously there's not much to analyze. So the 80/20 rule is focusing on user adoption first. And also, how does this interweave into what we've already invested in? What is our IT architectural strategy and what integrations are necessary? How do we leverage our investments as part of this project? So the first thing we have to do once we've established that we're going to do this project is we have to establish a project team. And the first thing I always choose is a sales eagle. Who's the person, who's a top performer in sales? Who's a person we want to emulate? They have a system, whether it's in the new CRM system or not, it will be. Because we want to tell people we are emulating top performers when designing the system. That will encourage people to want to use it. We also need to get that guy or that person in our organization who's that technology innovator, the person who's always got the newest watch and the newest phone. We want them on the team. We want them leading and thinking how to adapt technology into our business. What have they been thinking about doing? And there's always that other person in the organization that is process oriented, very regimented. We need to tap on their knowledge of the business processes and how to optimize things so that we can get them really working efficiently in the system. And believe it or not, the complainer. The complainer is always complaining, and everybody knows that. But in many cases, the complainer is complaining for valid reasons, and we need to capture that knowledge that person has, those complaints. We also have a huge potential to make this person our biggest cheerleader because if they get their issues resolved with the new system, they're going to be cheering loudly when the system is released because they are a known oratory person who wants to have their voiced opinion. And if they come along and say the system is great, that's going to shock a lot of people and really wake them up to what is this new system that we're getting and why should I be paying attention? Well, the complainer likes it. Oh my gosh, well, we better pay attention then. And lastly, the voice of the customer. We can't implement a CRM, customer relationship management software, without getting the customer to weigh in. What do they want from us? What can we do better? What is their biggest gripe or groan? What could we do better for them, or how can we serve them better? Their opinion matters, and it should be weighed heavily into what the system is going to be doing. Once we move on from that step, then we start thinking about the overall project. Take this seriously. Project marketing is probably the biggest absence in new software implementations that happen in the project. Everybody's so focused on the project and the team and all the other attributes and getting it right and getting it delivered. Well, across your organization, you should be announcing the project is happening from an executive point of view. There should be an all employee email that goes out to everybody saying, hey, this thing is happening. And inside of that, team members, those project heads should be talking to their employees. Hey, this thing's happening. That someone's going to come by and probably do some interviews and talk to you about your role and your job specific things that you need in the system. That departmental representation is important. And as part of that, we need some volunteers for testing the software or being on the project team. Then we need to make some little preview videos, some little short snippets of problem solved. As part of the marketing plan, we need to be demonstrating the value of the software before it's released and let people see, hey, this thing's coming. And by the way, you said this was a big problem. Here's problem solved. Here's another thing that you said was hard to do. Problem solved. So all of that also should be dripping into what I call the water cooler updates or quiet selling, where the project team should be instructed and told, hey, it's okay. Go back and tell them what we're doing and what's happening. We need to kind of tease them a little bit with some of this, build some anticipation around the fact that this project is going. And then we'll talk a little bit about how to really culminate all of this marketing effort into a launch party. So part of this promotional trailers idea of teasing people out with what are we going to do, setting some expectations, solving some problems, automating things that people have been complaining and saying, gosh, this just takes too long to do. All of these little things need to be demonstrating benefits of the future coming system. The new release of CRM is going to be really cool. It's going to blow you away. It's going to improve your quality of life. And I mean that because if it's easier to do your job and you have tools that are efficient, It is easier. So when people say what's important to me or what's in it for me, they'll know through these videos are matriculating out little snippets about what's important, why are we excited, and reinforce that 3x factor of what are going to be the features and benefits of the system. How does it benefit me on a daily, hourly, minute by minute basis? And of course, as I mentioned, I mean it. Have a launch party, have a party at Go Live so that we're bringing all of this full circle. We're going to demonstrate the hype, not just talk about it. Remember we saw those little videos? Well, let's show you a day in the life of video. We're going to run you through what life's going to be like using this system. We're going to talk about how management has a commitment to the system. They've sponsored this, they've spent the money. They're going to be wanting reports soon, but what's it look like? And let's recognize who worked hard on this project, who was instrumental, and give these people a voice and a chance to talk, and maybe the complainer steps up and shocks everybody with his testament to how this new system, I used to complain about all these things. We've solved them with the CRM system. And the innovator will blow everybody away with some new cool gadgetry and show them how now you can do this on your phone or on your watch or whatever it might be. And the sales eagle is going to step up and say, hey, you know what? They took the best practices of the top performers of this organization and ingrained it into CRM. What a testimony to why we want to use this system. I want to be a top performer too. And also, we're going to challenge the organization with some gamification. So, we're going to talk about rewards and recognition. We're going to talk about how are we going to be measuring people that they're, one, using the system, and two, becoming more successful. So, we're going to have some systems of measures. There's going to be some rewards. Who can log the most phone calls into the system in the first week? What's the pipeline look like? And who can close the most deals in the shortest amount of time? So we start having these systems of measures that make sense for your business that all go back to reporting. So making reporting a game, making it a goal, making it fun, that reports aren't something we trudge over anymore. They come out of the system automatically. And people get rewarded for who logged the most deals, who got the most phone calls this week, who resolved the most tickets, and all of that is celebrated. Let's celebrate our success together. Let's look at how this new system is making it easier to do work, and let's have celebrations of the successes that we have as a team. And of course, all of this isn't just easily transitioned magically tomorrow. We're going to have to be doing a lot of training. Training by role, training by little snippets and videos, as I mentioned before. Things that you don't like to do, we don't have to do them anymore. Let's demonstrate how the report comes automatically out of the system if you use these three fields. Again, go back to the 3x factor. What is the system doing for me and what don't I have to do anymore? Things I don't have to do. Things that were hard are now easy. Emphasize those, demonstrate those, train people on those things, and show them the vision of the system is working faster, better, and easier. We don't want to make you a slave to the system. We're getting rid of all these old systems and these old broken silos of data and unifying this under one CRM platform so we can all work together and see what each other are doing in the system so that we can work efficiently and be more successful. This is all going to be how we evolve as an organization. How are we attacking the new market or the changes and shifts in the sands? What's been going on in our market, and how does this system support us being productive, being successful, and following the trend? So, something to think about. A lot of times I hear people say they don't like change when we talk about this project. And I always think of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan embraced new. Instead of saying he didn't like change, he embraced new. Every time he went into a basketball game, he would wear a new pair of shoes. Why? Because new feels great. Don't let this be a project about change. Let it be a project about new, the new way of doing things. Think of it like this. Everybody had a big TV with a big tube hanging off the back. Why did everybody buy a new screen TV? Did their old TV not work? No, it worked, but the perception of new, the benefits of new, everybody wanted new. They wanted skinnier and flatter and more space efficient and higher efficiency and all the new features that came with the new TV with online and streaming and all of that. Those old TVs couldn't do that. Well, until you saw a flat screen TV, were you not happy or satisfied with what you had before, or at least you thought you were? But then once you saw the new one, you're like, I gotta have that. Well, that's what CRM projects, if done correctly and marketed correctly inter-office, become an anticipation of the new way of doing it. So we have to build that. So in review, let's think quickly about all of these things. We have to go in, we have to listen, we have to learn. What do people want to do? We have to set some goals with this project and build things around the 3X factor of what's hard to do, what should be easier to do, and what don't I want to do at all. And building the right team members into that accomplishes that. Marketing this project throughout the life of the project builds a level of anticipation, and the launch party is literally the coup de grace moment of we have achieved team success, we have built this thing, and now we're going to track rewards and recognition. We're going to have better reporting that's instantaneous, and we're going to have training and videos to rely on this new mantra of how we're going to do business together and support the new mission of success together. And that is how you build a CRM project that's based on success, that will be a beneficial project to you and your organization. And this is why you want to do a CRM project today.